And who would you be, Grasshopper?
Who am I? I am...
Forget it, I don't care. You're hired as sous chef.
Sous chef?
Not that there was a queue for the job. We hung the sign outside the door 2 months ago, and you were the first and only one who showed up.
You'll be shocked to discover that there's no sign hanging on the door.
Damn Roger. He must have stolen it to use it as a dish. Such ingratitude.
Anyway, there must be some misunderstanding. I'm just here in the capacity of,
Are you here to work as a dishwasher? Very well, you can start right now.
It'd be an honor to work as a sous chef for a professional in the business. In fact, I've always dreamed of a career like this.
Great. I'm Chef Tony, and from now on, your life is mine.
Can I call you Antoine?
No. For now, there's not much to do, so just observe me and try to learn something. I'll find you something to do for tonight.
May I at least ask you some questions?
Do what you like, but try not to pester me.
Chef, did you notice anything weird in the alley out there the past few nights?
Weird? Weird, you say? Now that I think about it, yes.
Does it concern a mannequin with a bloody smile drawn on its face by any chance?
No, of course not. What kind of sexual fantasies do you have in that Yankee head? I just noticed that the night before last, old Roger didn't show up to beg for food like he usually does every blessed weekend.
Is he homeless?
By now, I consider him more like a regular. He comes here because he knows that on Saturday night the leftovers are more nutritious and elaborate than any other day.
Where could I find this Roger?
Roger is a vagrant. He usually changes places, so it's hard to say. But if I was really in a hurry to find him, I'd take a walk around Nancy's.
That pub-like place on the promenade, right?
That one exactly, Pipsqueak. Now go slice 5 pounds of fresh tomatoes, then mix them and put them on the stove with a drop of oil and a pinch of mustard.
Of course. Maybe in a minute. Hey, Chef, you don't have a spare heart, do you?
They constantly ask for them. Those aristocratic pigs. You can find a bucket full of them near the entrance door.
To be honest, it's for personal use.
I knew immediately I'd hired a beginner, but I'd hope you had at least a little taste.
I am full of taste. I am
You're a runt, that's what you are.
Stop interrupting my official presentation. I perfected it over years.
Listen, Ant. Fresh hearts are really expensive, and I surely won't waste one of them on a kitchen boy.
Okay, I get the message. What do I have to do to get that heart?
Now we're talking. I need some special number 5 meatballs, cooked with the recipe you can find on that counter over there. I'll need them in large quantities for tonight, so try to hurry.
The preparation seemed elementary, but the ingredients would be a problem. Florida ginger? I have no idea what that is.
It's a root, but I don't know its shape. Normally, my supplier delivers it already grated.
And the other ingredients? Don't we have any of them already?
You can find salt and pepper on your workstation. For the rest, you need to make do yourself. Ever since I threw that cleaver at him, my supplier has disappeared. Oh, and be careful with the exotic meat. It must have a fresh new taste, something never tried before. These aristocrats become more and more demanding.
Can I take that Parmesan from the shelf up there at least?
No, it's only the crust. I keep it there to lure out those damn rats that plague West Miami.
Tell me about it. I've also had my share of headaches with those little pests in my place. So I'd find salt and pepper right on the workstation. Considering the sophisticated nature of some of these ingredients, the Mulzberg residence seemed like a promising place to start. Once I found the ingredients, it would become my culinary kingdom. I didn't know if the hen was Sicilian or not. Maybe the gardener could help me. Hello, good man.
Yes?
Have you got any of these ingredients?
Incredible! This seems like the recipe for meatballs my mother used to make.
What nonsense. These are needed to create powder to help detect fingerprints at the crime scene.
Huh, a PDO egg. That's curious. Our Betsy is a purebred. A Sicilian hen, to be precise.
But that's exactly the quality I need. Can I take one egg?
I don't think it would be a problem, but I must warn you, that hen is a little surly.
And can you tell me anything about the Florida ginger?
I can't help you there, sorry.
Aren't you the gardener?
Confidentially speaking, I'm not exactly an expert botanist. Mr. Mulzberg took it for granted after he saw my topiaries and hired me.
In short, you're totally useless. Stick around. Come here, sweetie. I was suddenly hungry for broth. I was suddenly hungry for... The sight could have fooled me, but surely not the smell. A chicken house. Chicken. In this case... Here's Nancy's, but still no trace of Roger the homeless guy. Hey, are you the homeless Roger?
Dude, do I look like a homeless guy?
I don't know. Maybe you're undercover.
I'm Mike, and you're a detective, I gather.
How do you know that?
You're wearing a coat in Miami's promenade.
Huh, touche. So, do you know Roger the homeless guy or not?
Knowing him is a stretch, but I caught a glimpse of him sometimes. He sits right on this bench and stays there enjoying the sun. I didn't see him today, though.
I guess I'll have to stop by later then. So, what brings you to the promenade? Yoga?
Just stretching. I warm up for my daily training, as I do every day.
Are you an athlete?
Not by profession, but I like to keep in shape. Plus, this year I'd like to take part in the famous triathlon held here in Miami.
Ah, yes, the triathlon. Well, last year I went to watch it, but I had to leave halfway through the race. My scarf ended up in the spokes of a participant's bike, causing a series of spectacular falls.
You aren't going to assist with this year's competition, too, are you?
No, they put up posters with my face on them to keep me out.
Good.
Have you heard about the Mulzberg scion's kidnapping?
No, I don't live in Miami, and honestly, I don't follow the local news.
See you, Mike.
See you soon, mate.
I didn't know what kind of plant it was, so I didn't care about it. The palm was marked with a red symbol on its trunk. I wonder what it meant. Typical seaside place, where exotic cocktails and Tex-Mex plates were served regularly. No trace of the events I would always remember as the night of the challenge. I preferred not to find out what other treasures those sacks were hiding. It seemed like a vending machine for chewing gum, but actually it contained soft marshmallows. I had tried many times to recover that piece of Parmesan, to no avail. First of all, it was too high. Secondly, the collapse of the floor beneath made it impossible to approach anything to climb on. For months I kept asking and asking Miss Joyce to repair that hole. Sooner or later I would fall through it again. I was sure I would find only bills and late payment warnings. Sometimes it's better not to know, so I didn't open it. I didn't want anything from the trolley. They contained grain and animal feed. I was fond of that feed. It tasted like ham. I was suddenly hungry for broth. Fresh heart in exchange for some meatballs. What a friggin' deal. Establishing how long that stew had been in the pot would have required carbon dating. Sometimes, my obsession with using random items didn't lead anywhere. Hello.
Hi, Lars.
I need a quick search.
Of course. Do you need information on Eric Mulzberg? Or maybe his daughter?
Nah, much better than that. I need to know what Florida ginger looks like to prepare some meatballs.
Your investigative methods are even more bizarre than I thought.
I never back down from even the most absurd challenge.
Give me a second. Here you are. You should look for a little plant with wide leaves and red flowers. They look like small artichokes if you examine them closely.
Little plant, red leaves shaped like artichokes. Got it.
If you want to obtain its spice, you'll have to gently extract the root.
Excellent. You just saved me half a day of investigation. We'll catch up later, Alice.
Keep me posted.
Nothing. Still no trace of that phantom homeless guy, Roger. Judging by the description I had, that surely had to be the Florida ginger. Delicately, I extracted the root. By grating it, I'd be able to obtain the spice I needed. If I asked you for some ingredients, could you help me?
Lo siento mucho. I don't deal with the kitchen myself. The vintage wine, though. Senor Mulzberg has always some bottles, but he does not keep them in the mansion.
Do you know where he stores them?
Unfortunately, no. But you know who you should ask? The gardener.
The gardener has vintage wine?
Actually, he shouldn't. As a matter of fact, he will never confess to you. The point is that le gusta beber, so from time to time he nicks a bottle from El Señor and hides it in the shed at the back.
In the shed, you said? Huh, good to know.
Oh, but he'll never let you in. He keeps the keys on his belt and guards them as if they fueran part of his body.
Don't worry, I have no intention of wasting time asking. So the wine is in the shed out back?
Yes, senor, but as I said, the gardener will never give you the keys.
I agree, not deliberately at least. Let's make this day of investigation worthwhile.
Si puedo ayudar, estoy aquí, señor Bundy.
I didn't need that stool anymore. There were the keys to the shed, hanging from the belt of the gardener. Asking him would be useless, given that they were covering up his little crime. The only solution was to try lifting them from him. There was an obstacle, though. The huge brim of his hat blocked my view. Maybe if I made him bend over... With Ramos, it had proven to be a good plan, so why not?
What's happening to my pile of leaves?
Now that the gardener was bent over, I could clearly see the shed key. People should really add Velvet Fingers to my list of nicknames. Hey, you know what? I guess I lost my phone in that pile of leaves.
You freaked me out with that damn vibration. I thought it was a mole attack.
Come here, sweetie. I was suddenly hungry for broth. I could use the lock that caused me a big problem earlier to solve another. Now, bite me if you can, you fiendish hen. One more egg for me, one less for you, Featherbrain. Yet I didn't feel like leaving the diabolical creature locked up. I've always been a fan of personal freedom. The sight could have fooled me. Hey, not bad at all. Toilet in the same room as the bed? Interesting idea. And there was the reason for my raid. That rope might have been useful if it wasn't rotten from its first to last fiber. I'd have picked up the sprayer if it didn't contain a strange and probably toxic greenish liquid. I don't know why, but I've always had a passion for vaporizers. That rope might have been useful if it wasn't. The shears were inviting, but I would have felt like a worm depriving the gardener of his best tool. Nah, who am I kidding? I didn't steal them only because they were all rusty. I didn't want to rummage through that man's fridge. Who knows what kind of crap I'll find inside? Pebbles and dust, nothing more. The boxes were stacked in no particular order. I didn't know what they contained, and I couldn't be bothered finding out. Grope a statue made of grass? Why not? That clothes stick was too appealing to leave it where it was. Fortunately, it was retractable, so I managed to put it in my coat. I'd have picked up the sprayer if it didn't contain a strange and probably toxic greenish liquid. I don't know why, but I've always had a passion for vaporizers. A nice way to air out the room on hotter days. The toilet seat was up. That was enough to know that no woman had been there for months. Flea-bitten, creased, beaten up, old, smelly. The only adjective that didn't apply there was inviting. Being very careful, I believed I would be able to grab that piece of Parmesan. The chef wanted some exotic-tasting meat that you can't find in the supermarket or butcher shop. What the hell did he expect? That I go to the Everglades and face an alligator with my bare hands? Hey there, kid.
What do you want?
Smell you later, kid. The cook demanded exotic meat with a taste never tried before. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that one satisfied both requirements. I couldn't pick it up with my bare hands, though. The cook demanded exotic meat with a taste never tried before. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that one satisfied both requirements. Now I could start the actual preparation. My sous chef table was waiting for me. Let's do that. And now, salt and pepper. Now, I just have to follow the recipe step by step. First of all, the meat had to be minced. In that moment, it didn't seem to be a good solution. I'd be starting my culinary career by mincing meat for dogs. I put the meat back in the can, ready to be used. I must admit that it emitted an inviting aroma. The meat was ready to be prepared. The grater was ideal for, well, grating. The grater was as decrepit as the rest of the kitchen. Even so, it was still usable. Let's start with seasoning. I helped to crack open the egg without breaking it. I've always been really bad in the kitchen. At that point, I turned the griddle on to start cooking. White wine from a good year. Fruity, clear, slightly tannic. Yeah, I'm just randomly throwing out words. I'd extract the spice from the root using that grater. And now, the final touch. Finally, after a half day of unpaid hard work, our incredible Chef Lazarus had completed his little culinary masterpiece. Now that I think about it, it still seems crazy to interrupt an investigation just to make some meatballs. But part of the reason I'm famous is because I never back down from a challenge. Yeah, not bad for a beginner. Here's your meatball, Chef.
I'd give it up. Oh, damn. And you took only half the day to prepare them. Maybe I underestimated you, lightweight. Let's see what you did. Hell, it's formidable. I meant passable, that is.
I told you there was a real cook hiding deep inside me. I just had to spread my wings and fly. Can I take a heart now?
Suit yourself. I'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight. And be on time.
Like a Swiss watch. I had finished in there, and I'd probably never touch another stove again in my life. Just a minute. Lazarus Bundy!
What the?
Now I could finally leave. I thought I could tie some clothes to the radiator, creating a handmade rope that might lower me from the window, and the tycoon's room was directly underneath. A risky plan indeed. On the other side, I had walked across a wooden board suspended in midair the previous day, and I like to be consistent. I just had to take some more clothes downstairs. With what I had with me, I was sure I could scare Lupe to death. I held my breath. Don't look down, Lars. Don't look down. First, I needed to warm her up a bit with words. It was time to terrorize that poor woman beyond all limits. Ooh.
My God, who's there?
You know who I am, woman.
Archbishop Molina?
As God be my witness, verily it is me. My imitation of medieval language is pitiful, but I never bothered taking a course.
But por qué you have come to me?
Thy beauty beckoned me back to this vivid land, and to its call I shan't resist.
But you are a ghost, and yo soy alive.
Ooh, we can easily remedy that, can't we? She was totally spooked. If the words had opened a crack, the bloody heart would kick the door down. The woman took off like a race car at the green light. Well, at that point, I had to find something. I had to find it fast before she could call for help. Eric Mulzberg wanted to keep me out of his room at all costs, so it had to be hiding something. I sensed immediately, thanks to that irrational sixth sense that always assisted me at crime scenes, that something was hidden in that desk. Nothing happened. Books on oil drilling. High literature. Books on oil drilling. High literature. Books on oil drilling. Books on oil drilling. High literature. With the light on, I saw a little engraving in a corner of the desk. The engraving seemed to resemble the shape of the desk, but every row of drawers was marked by a musical key and a series of Roman numerals. I remembered seeing the sheet music previously on Kathrin's piano. What if the musical references were connected somehow? The engraving seemed to resemble the shape of the desk, but every row of drawers was marked by a musical key and a series of Roman numerals. Nothing interesting in there. They were mainly books on shipyard management, the economy, the oil market. Their titles alone made me yawn. The house owner's educational qualifications. Too specialized to be fond of him. The bed was made and it didn't seem to hide anything peculiar. There wasn't anything under there, not even dust. The cleanliness of that house was unnerving. The engraving I found on Mulzberg's desk contained a musical reference that seemed to match those on the sheet music. I realized that the two clues were connected. The sheet music was the key that would let me unravel the secrets hidden in that desk. I remembered Mulzberg's words when he confessed to me that he knew nothing about music. Thankfully, because I was a disaster too. The sheet music, therefore, had to conceal a code not strictly connected to music. The musical notes must have to be interpreted another way. Ruling out the two erased lines of the pentagram, 3 remained, each marked by a different musical key. Were the notes on the sheet music a reference to the drawers of the desk? I also noticed something written on top, Allegro aperto. In music, that means something like a cheerful open. The engraving seemed to resemble the shape of the desk. Ruling out the 2 erased lines of the pentagram, 3 remained, each marked by a different musical key. Were the notes on the sheet music a reference to the drawers of the desk? I also noticed something written on top, Allegro aperto. In music, that means something like a cheerful open. Books on oil drilling. High literature. had to brush away my doubts, not the floor. Soapy water in a bucket. Oh, the smell it exuded made me cry. The engraving seemed to resemble the shape of the desk, but every row of drawers was marked by a musical key and a series of Roman numerals. I knew that desk was hiding something. With my hands shaking with emotion, I grabbed the folder. I was prepared for anything, but what I found on that paper left me speechless.
What do you think you're doing in my room? Who let you enter?
Normally, I'd have a pair of sarcastic answers for you, but right now, I've completely lost my sense of humor. How do you explain this?
This is an abuse of power! You snuck in here and rummaged through my private documents without a warrant.
You keep on dodging the questions that really matter, Mr. I have a broken heart. Please bring my daughter back. Your daughter was pregnant, and you knew that. And on top of that, you concealed the documents that proved it. I don't know if it's clear enough, but this makes you the prime suspect on my list. Who's the father? The guy in the picture I showed you? Answer me, goddammit!
Enough! Leave this residence immediately and never come back. And I assure you, you'll be hearing from me very soon.
I could say the same thing. So young Kathrin was pregnant at the time of the kidnapping. Was it possible that was the motive? And what was her father's role in the whole story? Had he hidden the medical records to preserve his daughter's dignity? Or to hide a motive that would have been a red flag for the authorities? Night had fallen by then. Initially, I thought of going straight to bed and falling asleep. Then, I was suddenly struck by a brilliant idea.
We're switching over to local news now, where we direct your attention to a curious case that happened today in West Miami. The well-known chef Tony was arrested after many clients in his restaurant began showing worrying physical symptoms. The police report has identified the cause of the patron's collective discomfort as some meatballs, apparently prepared using dog meat. The chef defended himself, claiming he had given instructions for the making of the dish to an elusive sous chef, of whom no traces can now be found. What can we say? If it's a pet-friendly local establishment you're looking for, Tony's restaurant could really be your thing.
Yeah. Absolute number one, intern.
Isn't that because you're playing against yourself, Mr. Number One?
If someone had tried socializing rather than carrying around her job, we would not still be here arguing about it. So at the current state of things, I am the undisputed number one, and that's that.
In the meantime, your someone might have found something by analyzing the picture that was slipped under your door. I couldn't find any information on the man in the company of Kathrin Mulzberg, but the logo visible on the building gave me a lead to follow. It's a decommissioned factory belonging to a company called Fallen Rose, for which I've written the address down. Unfortunately, there was no way to...
Yes, all right. It's all very compelling. But we'll think about the factory tomorrow. Now put down that infernal device and let me see what you've got.
You really had it coming, small-time detective. What do you think about that?
That was beginner's luck.
And this?
That was clearly a foul. I found a surprise waiting for me.
Mr. Bundy, I was just looking for you.
Am I late with the rent?
The rent is the least of your problems right now. There are people, Mr. Bundy, who find your investigation really bothersome.
You were sent by Mulzberg, weren't you? That worm thinks he can scare me with his two-bit intimidation tactics, but I have absolutely no intention of stopping. I'll bring the truth to the light, even if a whole empire has to fall because of it.
That's all I need to know.
Wait! I'm listening.
Cooperate, and maybe there will be no unpleasant consequences. Many influential forces are at work in this story, Mr. Bundy.
I'll take the bait. What do these forces at work want from me?
That you don't try to push beyond your capabilities. That you accept your place as an insignificant exile and spend the rest of your life in the shadows. You have a choice to make, Bundy. Choose wisely.
I've worked very hard to get to this point. I can't quit the case. Kathrin's life is at stake.
A praiseworthy and daring choice, but wrong.
Wait! I'm listening.
Cooperate. Many
I'll take the bait.
You have a choice.
Okay, I quit the case. Really, it's not a matter that concerns me. I'm sorry for the girl, but in the end, these things happen. The important thing is that they don't happen to yourself.
You just made the best choice of your life. Oh, Bundy. Just some advice. Let this be our last meeting.
The guy had been clear and explicit. I could be sure that if I didn't comply with his demand for answers, he'd kill me without giving it a second thought. My rational side urged me to really let it go. Goodbye case, goodbye challenge, goodbye unsolved mysteries, and goodbye Kathrin. But no, I couldn't leave that girl to her destiny. Her father did something horrible to her. He had hidden the truth from the world, maybe even going so far as having his own flesh and blood kidnapped or even killed. No way I'll give up. I am up against the wall. Things just get better and better. I'd fallen asleep with my clothes on. That visit the previous night had shaken me more than I wanted to admit. Well, that must be Alice. The door's open. Come in. Hey, intern. Welcome.
Hello, Lars. Do you always leave the door open?
Yeah, of course. So the delivery boy can leave me the harbinger at the door and I can do this? Hey, Alice, look at that.
Did they finally find Ramos?
Much better. Today, the Harbinger is giving out firecrackers to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the opening of the newspaper.
You get excited over very little sometimes.
But it's a pop-pop. One of those kinds that explodes if you throw it on the ground. So cool.
I was expecting different furnishings. You look more like a guy with a toilet in the bedroom.
Everything was more or less already like this when I got here. Hey, what do you mean by I look more like a guy? Well, at this point, I'd say it's best to leave behind the beating I gave you last night and focus on the job.
Are you talking about when the ball slipped and landed on my foot, or when you elbowed me in the stomach mimicking your lar swing?
Well, I did get a strike, right?
Yes, in another alley.
Try to make yourself at home.
As I was trying to tell you yesterday evening, I couldn't trace any information about the man in Kathrin's company, which is quite strange, considering that I have total access to all the government databases in the world.
But this can be explained in perfectly legal ways, and in any case, it doesn't help us with the investigation.
On the other hand, I found some information about the symbol appearing in the background, which identifies a company called Fallen Rose.
It doesn't sound familiar. What is it?
The company itself did business in many sectors, but the Miami headquarters specialized in building materials. From the archives, I couldn't find anything suspicious. All above board until they declared bankruptcy last year. But here's the kicker. Although the company is supposedly bankrupt, I found signs of recent activity by analyzing surveillance camera footage in the neighborhood.
So, they're still there. Maybe I could. Alice, I need access to that factory, this very day.
It could be risky, but I certainly won't stop you. I feel this case could really push my career years ahead. And by the way, my zealous detective, I think it's time you tell me everything you know about the case we're investigating.
All right. At this point, I can't deny you deserve it. Okay, let's start from the beginning. That is to say, the night I tracked down Ramos. This is, in broad terms, what pushed me to investigate the Mulzberg case.
I'm still not totally clear on the relevance of the porn magazine.
Oh, that? Wait, I can explain that in more
Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's really absurd. How did you manage to get yourself involved in a case like this?
This could be my big chance at redemption, Alice. I'm not ready to surrender yet.
I get it, but now I'd better get back to the office. I really can't afford to be late.
I'll leave with you then. I expect this will be a very emotional day.
Well, see you later then.
Alice's contribution was crucial, giving me another lead to follow. An abandoned factory belonged to the Fallen Rose. I figured I should also swing by Nancy's. Maybe I would be able to talk to the mysterious homeless guy, Roger. Come to think of it, this was the day I was also supposed to have my interview with that leech Gwendolyn Pratt. I had serious doubts about what to do. Maybe it would be better to go back to Ramos's house to face that shrew.